bro, you need to stop being interested in our goals and start getting obsessed about your goals. All right, so I'm gonna explain the main differences between being obsessed and being interested. Okay, someone who's obsessed with their goals, they're gonna get to their goals because they're obsessed with it. Someone who's interested is gonna be okay with, putting on the semblance of doing what they need to do to get there, but not actually doing everything they can and committing to, hitting those goals. So interested means, if you're interested in your goals, this means you'll allow yourself to back out at the first sign of inconvenience, right? So for example, I'm talking fitness here. You can apply this to anything, but I'm talking fitness. So say there's a work event, right? And at these work events, typically, nutrition, good nutrition rather, is not really ever a priority. So, your company brings in food, and usually it's like pizza, cookies, brownies, all that stupid shit. And you're supposed to be, in a deficit. You're supposed to be tracking your foods, logging your foods, and you're only supposed to be eating, 2,500 calories a day. But then, your work brings in food, and you give into the temptation because, I didn't pack a lunch, and they told us they're gonna bring in food, so I didn't plan anything. And then you eat, 3 slices of pizza, and that's already like 1,000 plus calories. That's being conservative. It's like really like 1,200, 1,300 calories, right? That's half your day eating, and then you eat a cookie, and then you eat a brownie. But then you're like, oh, it's okay. I had, they brought in salad too. I ate some of that. Who gives a shit? So it's just like when you're interested, moments like that are gonna accumulate. You're gonna have a lot of moments like that where it's just like, basically your situation is testing your will to see how about it you are about hitting your goals, right? And most of the times when you're only interested, you're gonna fold. All right, so excuse me. Yeah, just mindlessly accepting food is honestly a huge one, because I work with clients in person, and over the years people love to bring me food and stuff, and it's like at this point I have certain clients that maybe they say they like to bake, but they'll be like, oh, I made cookies or I made whatever, but I didn't bring you any because I know you won't eat it. And instead they offer to make like a protein cookie version of it, or whatever the case is. So yeah, that's someone who's obsessed with creating their best self and their best health. They're not gonna fold in those moments. All right, so interested means you're fine with not getting the result that you say that you want, even though you claim that you want the result. All right, let's see. Yeah, this also means that your standards are aligned with your current situation. So wherever you're at right now, you say you want higher, you say you want better, but your standards are such that they're gonna keep you where you are, and eventually it's just gonna deteriorate because you're either going towards your goals or going away from your goals, right? Now, obsessed means you're constantly thinking about your goal. You're thinking about it every single day, right? So when I talk about obsession, and I think about obsession, literally the first name that comes to my mind is Kobe Bryant, right? So, we all know Kobe's story, how, he won 5 championships, he won multiple MVPs, he won finals MVP, he won scoring titles, defensive player of the year, all this stuff. None of that would have been possible for him. We wouldn't be talking about his name today. Rest his soul, God rest his soul. We wouldn't be talking about his name today if he wasn't obsessed with becoming the best version of himself, becoming the best basketball player, becoming the best hooper that he could, right? Always looking for ways to improve. Okay, so we wouldn't be talking about his name the way that we do today if he wasn't obsessed with what he did, right? Obviously, another name we could say is Michael Jordan, right? He was obsessed with, becoming the best version of himself, becoming the best basketball player, right? That's why I love using them as examples, because they're, very, very they're the epitome of obsession with creating your most elevated self, right? And yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like when you're obsessed, you don't just talk about it, you be about it. Okay, your work ethic shows it. Just do what it takes. You don't talk about it all fucking day. You just do it what the fuck it takes, right? Yeah, Kobe was working out 4 times a day. He didn't talk about it maybe yet after he retired, but he wasn't telling all his secrets. He was just going hitting his workouts, and you know, you saw the results of those workouts on the court when he was demolishing everybody. So if you're not thinking about your goal every day, if you're not thinking about your goal every day, it's gonna make it that much tougher to do what it takes to get to your goal, because it is just, you know, literally just reps, right? Just showing up, doing what it takes. Are all the reps gonna be perfect? No, but the more, you know, the more you show up, the more at-bats you have, the discrepancy for you not getting to that goal is gonna become smaller and smaller and smaller, because you are doing the reps. The reps become more refined, become more repetitive, and they accumulate. And not only do they accumulate, but they also compound. So obsessed means you desire the outcome, right? And desire, what I mean by desire is, the desire is significantly stronger. It's much more emotionally intense than just wanting, okay? Let's say, for example, let's say you desire somebody versus you want somebody. Which one is more compelling, the desire, right? Somebody has, you know, a desire for, right, let's say they have a desire for, I don't know, like a certain, whatever, anyways, you guys can come up with an example for yourself, okay? Desire versus outcome, or sorry, desire versus want, right? But yeah, man, start being obsessed. Don't let anyone tell you that being obsessed with hitting your goal is a bad thing. Because, bro, you see my physique and you see anyone with a cold physique, you think they got there just by wanting to get here and there? No, we were fucking obsessed, bro. Like, I look at my physique and I see ways that I can improve it. And it's not because I'm not proud of where I've gotten to, but it's like, I know I can always go harder, I can always do better. And that's what being obsessed means versus being interested. It's like, oh, okay, this is good enough. Right, so start being more obsessed, y'all. I think that was like 7.